The United Kingdom. You know, it's a name we all recognize, but what does this collection of nations actually look like today, in the 21st century? Well, let's take a closer look together.
This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. The UK has gone through this massive transformation. It's now a multinational, multiracial society, and honestly, it's fundamentally different from the country it was a century ago. So, what does the UK really look like now? Let's find out.
To get a handle on the UK, you gotta start with the basics. So first up, let's just get our bearings and look at the lay of the land. You know, the geography of these four nations that come together to form one kingdom.
Okay, so it's tucked away in the northwest of Europe, and the UK mainland stretches about 870 miles from the very tip of Scotland all the way down to the coast of England. And while, yeah, it's a pretty densely populated island, with most people living in towns and cities, the countryside still holds this really special place in the national identity. It's absolutely crucial for leisure and holidays.
Now, this is a super important point to grasp. The United Kingdom isn't just one single country. It's actually a political union of four distinct nations. You've got England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and each one has its very own capital city.
So, that's the geography. But a nation is always more than just its land, right? It's all about the people who live there. And in the UK, the story of its people is one of, well, absolutely explosive growth.
I mean, just look at these numbers. Back in 1600, the population was just over 4 million people. Fast forward to 1901, and it had skyrocketed to 40 million. That acceleration is just staggering, and it completely reshaped the country through industrialization and urbanization. And that growth has just kept on going, driven by huge changes in society, healthcare, and migration.
And all that dramatic growth brings us to today, with an estimated population of over 67.5 million people. So the next logical question is, where exactly is everyone living?
All right, let's zoom in on those 67 million people. We're going to explore who they are, how they're spread out across the land, and what key trends are really shaping the UK's demographics today.
So this slide shows a really fascinating imbalance. The population is, well, it's far from evenly distributed. A whopping 84% of people live in England. Just think about that. It means the other three nations, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, are home to just 16% of the total population combined.
So what's behind this continuous growth? Well, it really boils down to two key factors. First, people are simply living longer, thanks to better healthcare. And second, migration has played a really significant role. And this isn't just a statistic, you know? An aging population has real-world consequences, putting a lot of pressure on things like pensions and the healthcare system.
And it's not just about age. The UK is also an incredibly ethnically diverse and rapidly changing society. People have origins from all over the world. And it's a trend that's especially visible in major hubs like London, which has created this really rich, multiracial culture.
This growing diversity in age and ethnicity is actually mirrored by this profound transformation within society itself, especially when you look at the journey towards equality.
Wow, the contrast between then and now is just night and day. The old expectation that women should just be homemakers has been completely turned on its head. Today, women make up about half of the entire workforce, and it's totally normal for them to continue their careers after having children.
And you can see this progress right across the board. On average, girls now actually leave school with better qualifications than boys, and more women than men are going on to study at university. We're also seeing more women in high-level positions than ever before, and at home, the responsibility for childcare and chores is increasingly being shared.
All right, let's switch gears and look at some of the nuts and bolts of daily life in the UK. You know, the stuff that shapes everyday interactions, and let's start with language.
Now, you might think everyone in the UK just speaks English, but that's not the whole story. In Wales, for example, Welsh is widely spoken and it's taught in schools. And in parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland, you'll hear the distinct historic languages of Gaelic and Irish Gaelic still being spoken today. And what about money? The currency is the pound sterling. Pretty simple. It's divided into 100 pence with a familiar range of coins and banknotes that are used across all four nations. But check this out. Here's a fantastic bit of trivia for you. Scotland and Northern Ireland actually issue their own banknotes. And while they are technically legal tender all across the UK, a shop in England, for instance, isn't legally required to accept them. It's one of those funny little quirks of the Union. So when we pull all these different threads together, what do we see? Well, the UK of today is this complex tapestry. It's a multinational, multiracial society that has been utterly transformed from the country it was just 100 years ago.
And this brings us to our final forward-looking question. The UK has never stood still. It's always in a constant state of evolution. So, as these trends continue, what will the identity of this unique collection of nations look like in another 100 years? It's something to think about.